All right. Welcome to episode 6 of Dinner for Two. I'm Denver Walker, your host, and joining me today of often-time guest on Cold Sweats, possibly a host of Cavities, if that's still around,
Yeah, maybe.
Tyler Walker, and also my brother.
Thanks for having me, guys.
What was that?
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. What are you having for dinner tonight?
I'm having a delicious omelet.
Ooh, an omelet.
Yeah.
What's on?
I got mushrooms and spinach.
Nice. I started eating my breakfast first, so I have Milk Duds. But I also have a Jimmy John sub.
That's perfect with Milk Duds.
Oh yeah. They pair very nicely. First off, we got to take care of some business, I guess. Since you are a male, and it is well known and documented that only males poop, we need to know: do you wipe sitting or standing?
I think sitting, but I think it's kind of crucial to stand up and do a check again anyway.
Really? So you do like a hybrid?
Yeah, kind of. I just like to be thorough and make sure there's not any extras hanging around or anything like that.
But you're saying that when you stand up, you get a better idea of cleanliness.
Because the buttocks compress, and then I feel like it makes it. I don't know. There are times where I'll be sitting down and it'll seem like I'm all done, and then I'll stand up, and it turns out there was something somewhere that once I stood up, it came to light, and I wouldn't have otherwise known.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's why I just think you just need to stand up the whole time.
Yeah.
And that way you're thorough. You get in there.
True.
You can get into all the different crevices. Make sure you get everything.
Just save time.
Yeah.
I think another good question when it comes to wiping is up or down.
I always go, I guess, from bottom to top.
Yeah. I think I'm opposite. I think I'm top to bottom.
Really?
Yeah, but like I said before, I think it's also crucial to do both in that situation as well.
You need to go from both directions just in case?
It's different angles, but I definitely prefer top to bottom in terms of comfort.
Gotta go with the grain and against the grain just to make sure you're thorough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have a tale of mystery and deception, and just go ahead and start with your story.
Okay. Well, this is the tale of how I lost my iPhone, and I got it back. So I'll let you know the ending already.
Yeah.
And but it all started on Friday afternoon. I was at Snap Fitness, and I was leaving, and I must have set everything on top of my truck to look through my duffel bag to find my keys. And when I got back in, I must have grabbed everything, and I missed my phone. So I pulled out of the parking lot, and obviously it must have fell off. And then eventually I realized it not too long after, and I went right back. And how
far away did you get home, or how far away were you?
No, I realized it while I was still in town. I was probably I probably only drove for 5 minutes, and then I turned back around. I didn't get too far.
Passed.
What's that?
Not a whole lot of time passed then.
No, not very much time at all. But apparently it was enough time, because when I got back, I couldn't see the phone anywhere in the parking lot or inside. So finally I asked some kids who were working. There's I don't know if it's a quick loan place or a fast cash place, but it's right next to Snap Fitness. I'm guessing this guy was there, and he found it in the parking lot, went up to their group and asked them if it was one of theirs, and they said no, and then he just took off with it after that. And so iPhones are pretty nifty to have, and I used the Find My iPhone app right away, and I went. It showed me exactly the house where it was at because it used a GPS, and went straight there.
Where was the house at? Was it a decent, or is it a rundown, shitty house?
It's a small little shanty house. It's a rental house.
Okay.
And I went there, and nobody answered. And So I guess after that, let's see, where did I go from there? Well, I went back to Snap, and then I gave it a couple hours, and then I went back to the house, and once again, no one answered. So then I went at 8, and I went back again at like 7:30 on Friday night, and still got no answer. So after that, I went to the police station, and just filed like, can't prove it's stolen, so it was just a lost report pretty much. Yeah. And a police officer said he would buy the house whenever he could to see if there was any cars out there, and he would knock and talk to them if there was a car there. And but the thing, I went back multiple times on Saturday. There was never a car there, and so I did a real estate search on the house, like an assessor search, and I looked at the deed, and the current landlord, after doing some more internet research, there's 2 landlords on the deed, and one of them was dead, and one of them is in a nursing home. So yeah, I did not know who the current. That's not a good sign. I did not. What's that?
That's not a good sign.
No, not at all. So things were just getting weirder. And then I went back to the police station to give them some further information since I knew who the deed holders and stuff were. And the police officer was able to figure out who the current like supervisor or landlord is of that house. And to the best of his knowledge, there was nobody living even in that house at the moment. And
what?
So yeah, and so hit a dead wall there, and things are just getting weirder. And I went multiple times through the house. I was gonna stake the house out, and I obviously don't have my phone, so one gets bored pretty easily when you're just sitting in a truck outside the house. So after 10 minutes, I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do this," and I just left. And but never could find a car there. And then last night I was actually at a bar. Just right on the corner of that block, and walked over there, and there was a car there actually, and so I got the license plate number of the car, managed to remember it too, and nice. I was really tempted right then to just start busting on the door, just seeing if they would answer at 1 a.m, but the better part of me told me no, and then so this morning I checked again on the Find My iPhone app, and earlier, the first time I went to the house, I made an alarm go off on the phone. You can do that with the app, and it showed at that moment on the app that my phone was turned on, and then I made the alarm go off while I was outside the house to hear it, and then all of a sudden it went gray, meaning someone inside the house turned off my phone, and then so I couldn't get an update on location for a while, and then this morning when I checked, it had actually moved, and it looked like it went like just like a house over, but it looked like it was kind of outside. And through the app, I made it so when they turn it back on, the alarm's going to go off again. And then a message popped up, like mom's phone number popped up. And then the message that I put in said, this iPhone has been stolen. Police are now notified. Please call number immediately to cease further action without consequence. And so I'm guessing when they turned that phone back on last night at like 7 p.m. is what it said, I'm guessing they just freaked out, and they probably just ran out of the house and just chucked it. Because in the morning, I walked around the area, and this morning I found it laying in the mud across the street on the ground.
So it looked like the screen shattered. Was it like that before?
No, funny story is that I actually did that myself. Working out one day, I stepped on it. And I was doing like...
They didn't steal that case.
What's that?
I'm surprised they didn't steal that nice case.
Yeah, right. I don't know what was going through these people's head or anything like that. I don't know. It was already cracked. I'm not sure what they wanted to do with it. I'm not sure if they were on something and just thought that they crossed like a treasure on the ground and they just wanted to keep it or try selling this cracked iPhone or what. But I don't know. I even left a note on the door that was very nice, just saying, hi, my phone's been traced to this house. Call this number to return or give to the police department. Thanks. And they just took it down, I'm guessing, and because it wasn't on the door still this morning when I went to the house.
So you left it there last night?
What's that? You
left that message on their door last night?
Yeah, like in the later afternoon.
Yeah.
And I looked at my emails today, and it said that it had been turned on around 5 o'clock too. But the last location I had was like at 7, so I must have not missed them by too much yesterday.
Yeah. Do you have a lock code on it?
I didn't at first, so they accidentally FaceTimed James, my friend,
Really?
and but then they canceled it, and I don't know. I don't think they got anywhere with it because it doesn't look like there was any activity on the phone at all. And then not too long after, I put it in the lost mode anyway, so they had to have a code to unlock it.
Yeah.
But the moral of the story is,
I wonder what the plan was when they just like threw it outside. Like,
yeah,
I think fucking bomb, get it out of here.
I think they were just freaking out. They probably did not want police coming to their little shanty house or anything like that, or their squatter house, because apparently no one lives there. So,
but even like if you would think that if they were trying to just get rid of it, they would have at least taken it somewhere else that wasn't right by their house.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I thought maybe when I saw that it had moved, I thought maybe they were going to take it back to Snap, judging from its location and stuff, what it showed on the map. But
yeah.
They must have just chucked it.
I still want to know more. Still, I think we need to actually track down who the people are, and we need to get answers.
I know. I'm really not satisfied with that ending. I'm glad I found my phone, but I really just wanted to like find that person and just be like, "Give me my phone back right now. I know it's you. I found you myself." Like, I didn't even need the police department. Like, anything that was accomplished in finding the phone was all on my part and just using the internet.
Right. Yeah. That's a nice app. I don't know if I have the Android thing, so I don't know if I have an equivalent app to that or not.
Definitely need it. That's the niftiest thing I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
The moral of the story is, if you annoy the shit out of someone long enough, they're eventually going to give you what you want.
Yeah. Just have alarms go off in the middle of the night at their house.
Yeah. There's a truck in the back of my there's an axe in the back of my truck, and at 1 a.m. in my thought process, I was very tempted to just take an axe to their car.
Or what if you just put the axe like on your shoulder and go up to the door and knock?
I should do that. I'm still not satisfied. I'm probably gonna go back and leave a note on the door that just says like "thanks" or something like that.
Yeah.
At first, I wanted to leave one that just said "pussy," but then I don't want to aggravate them because they have my mother's phone number, and so I'm probably just gonna leave them a note that says like "thanks" with the smiley face or something, so they get the point.
Oh, holy
cow! Right
cow!
now, it's still kind of eating at me.
That's a crazy. So the kids that you asked when you first lost it, did you know who they were?
What's that?
Did you know the kids that you asked?
They're like teenagers. They're regulars at Snap. I see them all the time, but I don't know them.
So okay.
Yeah, and they gave me a really good description of the guy too. And they said he was in a van. There's never a van in the driveway. There was always a Ford Fusion in the driveway of the house. Or at least whenever I first went there. The first 2 times there was a car there, the Ford Fusion. And then I never saw it again until last night when I went back to the house at 1 a.m.
Well, I tell you what, I have one rule in life.
What's that?
And that's to never trust anybody that drives a Ford Fusion.
Yeah, I've noted now.
Oh, well, let's move on a little bit. Let's see. We were going to talk about when I don't know, like this happens to me a lot, I feel like, and when you dig yourself a hole with your own lies, but it's not big lies, like somebody's talking about a car and like how to fix it, and yeah. I don't know anything about cars. Like I can maybe change the oil.
Yeah.
But that's probably going to be about it. I know where things are generally if they're major things. But so like if somebody's talking about fixing their car or whatever, then for whatever reason, like, I don't know, maybe it's like your manliness. You don't want your manliness to be challenged. Mm-hmm. And so you're just like, oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. But then where you get into trouble is when they keep going.
Yeah.
And then it's not good. It's not good at all. And
right.
Plus, now if you're going to see them again, they think that they can talk cars with you. And so you actually kind of like, if you don't do research after the conversation is over, then next time you're fucked.
Yeah, right. Yeah, That always happens to me with I somehow always end up with coworkers who are just sports fanatics, and
Yeah.
I like sports and participating in them, but I don't really follow like any professional sports or anything like that. Not even a whole lot of college athletics.
Mhm.
But I managed to somehow always BS my way through it, and then after that, they always come back to me with their like team updates and stuff like that, and like it's like start talking about where they think this team could go with like their position players and stuff like that, and I just have to be like, oh yeah, I can definitely see that. Like I agree. Like, I might just like I might come with my own knowledge sometimes with like something I just heard on like Sports Center, like
Yeah.
but I don't know anything about sports. So
I'm kind of, I know a lot more about baseball, obviously, but
Yeah.
like I watch I like football, but I don't watch it like all the time, and
Mhm.
so like, and it's been a while since I have watched it all the time, so I don't know like if they're not like a superstar player, then I probably don't know who they are,
Mm.
and so when people are like, oh yeah, did you catch the game last night?
Yeah.
Old what's his face, Mr. Ken Johnson. He he had like 3 touchdowns. I'm like, what teams are you talking about?
Yeah, shoot, what was I gonna say? I can't remember, but they always do it to me. Oh, you think eventually they always ask me the same thing too. Did I catch this game last night? And I
Yeah.
always say no. So I always figure eventually they're gonna get the point that I don't actually care to watch sports that much. But they never do. They just love sports way too much to not tell someone about it.
Right. I get that. Like, I think for guys, that's the main thing. Like, if you're trying to just like chit chat and you
Yeah.
don't really have anything to talk about, you talk about sports basically.
Yeah.
But that makes me think of something that's kind of funny. So since we moved down to Arizona and we don't know anybody down here, so I don't really have any other guys or anything to hang out with.
Yeah.
So Kelsey and I went to Buffalo Wild Wings for like the Arizona Cardinals last playoff game.
Yeah.
They're still in the playoffs, so that would be like before the Super Bowl when they lost to the Panthers. But we were waiting for a table because the place was packed because everybody wanted to be there to watch the game. But there's this guy there that snuck a table before us, and he was by himself.
Huh.
And so he had seen us because we got there like literally right after he got there,
Uh-huh.
and he saw us that we didn't get a table. He's like, "Hey, yeah, you guys come on over. You can sit with me." It's like, "All right, thanks. That's nice." So typically, if you're sitting with somebody that you don't know, like you just kind of chit chat a little bit and then you watch the game, right? Like that's it. But this was not one of those guys. He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that just wants to talk about everything. And so, like, he asked our backstory and told him that we just moved down there and all that. And so he wanted to get my number. He's like, yeah, I can. Like, he has season tickets to the hockey team down here. Like, yeah, I can get you hockey tickets, whatever. It's like, oh, that doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Yeah.
So I gave him my number when he asked. Whatever, big deal. But then he continued to text me
Oh.
like for at least like 3 to 4 weeks, I think.
Oh man.
And like always wanting to do something. And I legitimately am busy with like work and school. And the reason why I haven't had the podcast for the last 2 weeks is because we've been busy doing other stuff. But I've always, like, if I wanted to make time, I could have, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'd always just put it off, like, oh, I got this going on, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I had to give in because he wasn't going to go away. And I'm like, all right, fine. Like, I'm not doing anything on this past Thursday. Like, I'm not doing anything Thursday. Don't have anything going on. Like, he was going to a hockey game that night and asked me if I wanted to go with him. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't stay out that late. But I guess I can grab a beer with you before you go.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So we meet at Buffalo Wild Wings, and it was fine. Like, talking about sports the whole time and just whatever. And it like when you are drinking, it helps you like not feel awkward in the situation anyway.
Yeah.
But whatever. So it was fine. He's going to the game, so I left, and like it's kind of like this is how I feel like some girls might feel like when they're going on dates and like guys are like really desperate and like really clingy. But he like texted me like right after we were like I was leaving. Like I wasn't even out of the parking lot yet. So, hey man, yeah, that was a lot of fun. We need to do it again. I'm like, yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. He's like, yeah, man, we need to do something like every week. We need to plan something every week. So just have some guy time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, what have I done?
Yeah. Describe this guy a little bit.
I think he's a little younger than me, actually.
Yeah.
But he moved to Arizona from Montana.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's lived here for a while, I think. But he's a bigger guy. Like he's pretty big. Here's he does like social media work for like a company.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. So I talked to him about that a little bit because I just imagine like people sitting like in their house like on Twitter all day or something. But like it was interesting and it was a fine conversation because he's one of those guys that just talks all the time. Yeah, and you can just kind of add in whenever you want, which is good because I'm not good with small talk type stuff. But have you ever had a guy that's been a clinger to you?
Well, I actually have a pretty recent story, but this one's a little bit weirder. This guy, he's in Iowa City, and he added me on Facebook, and I saw that he had all his mutual friends were people I used to live with in Iowa City, like James, Sawyer, Ben, and them. So I figured, oh, this must be some all right guy that maybe I met sometime or he knows all my friends, so I'll add him. And then after I add him, I immediately get messaged by him, and he says like, "Hey, what's up, man? Like, well, we ought to meet up sometime, hang out like that." And he had somehow met me before, and I was like, eventually I was like, I don't know you. Where'd you meet me at? And then he's like, I met you at a bar downtown. I met you at like Brothers or something like that. And I was like, when was this? And he was like, oh man, it was a while. I don't know, like maybe the October to September area, something like that.
Like, it was exactly 2 years, 5 months, and 6 days ago.
Yeah, pretty much so. And then I was like, I messaged all my friends and I was like, do you guys remember meeting this guy at all? Like, who is he? And they're like, I don't know, but he keeps on messaging me and asking to hang out. and I was like, okay, this dude's never met me. This is just some weirdo who's trying to hit up all my friends. And he's just making internet rounds with people. And then all of a sudden, I asked him for a little bit more details. And then all of a sudden, it all hit me that I did actually meet him at that bar, like at September. And the only interaction we had was that James was talking to him, and then James pulled me over just to talk to him, and he was like, yeah, I just moved here not too long ago. I work at the hospital. I'm a nurse and stuff like that. We're like, oh, cool. And then we talked for like maybe like 5-10 minutes at most, and then we went to another bar, and I never saw him again. But he somehow remembered me, my name, the name of my friends, and
months later tracked you all down on Facebook.
Yeah, and he thought to add us like this was at least like 3 months later or something like that. It just randomly popped into his head that somehow this 10-minute interaction, he knew my name and everything like that. And
that's
he kept on messaging to hang out and stuff like that too, or like things like that. And needless to say, that's a little bit different from your story, but
yeah, that feels a little rapey.
Yeah, right. And the bad part is that he's not a liar or anything like that. He actually is a nurse, and Sawyer's a nurse too. And Sawyer works with this guy like regularly, it turns out. Sawyer was like, shit. Like,
Uh, that's funny. What did Sawyer say? He was like a stand-up guy or what?
He's like, I don't know. There's something off about him. Was there something off about your guy, or does he seem like a perfectly normal dude who's all there?
I think he's a normal guy, but I don't think he has a whole lot of friends.
Okay, so he's just a normal dude who's just probably bored and a little bit lonely.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I think this guy's bored and lonely, but he's also got something not quite right with him, at least socially. Because I mean, he's a nurse. He's got to be pretty smart to get where he got.
Yeah, that's a yeah. You gotta be careful because if he's smart enough but weird enough, like maybe he wants to like start trying out like murder. I think. All right. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties there a little bit. We're back. So this guy that added you to Facebook.
Yep.
I think what's going to end up happening is that one day you're going to turn on the news and you're going to see that this guy was arrested and that they found multiple bodies in his walls.
Yeah, I could totally see it. Might have been him who took my phone, for all I know.
It could have been. It could have been. And one of our live viewers from earlier did comment about how it looks like you are currently in a bunker. So maybe that's good.
Yeah, I'm currently in my basement. This is where the best connection should be because the Wi-Fi is like right over there, the router.
Right, it should be, but maybe it's just shitty internet altogether.
Yeah, it definitely is.
But I guess before you do freeze up and go out again, we should just go ahead and wrap it up, I guess, unless there's anything else that you want to talk about.
No, I don't think I got anything now. Now that I've got that phone dilemma off my chest to some people.
Yeah. I'm glad that you got through that. You got your broken phone back. Now we just need to get some vigilante justice, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely some unfinished business still. It's not quite over yet. We'll see.
Right. Yeah. Next time that you're on, we'll get the conclusion to the story if you're still alive. If that guy hasn't killed you yet.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, I really like your light switch.
Thank you very much. It's the only decoration that I have up in my entire apartment.
It's kind of just becoming a part of the show. I think people are gonna.
Yeah.
It's gonna become a favorite character maybe at some point.
I'm gonna have to name it. He's gonna continue to have a small role. He's been asking for a bigger role as we've gone along. I'm trying not to because he gets kind of a big head. And really he's either on or off. It feels like there's no in between with him. So I'm trying to keep his role really small, but we'll see if it evolves as the show evolves. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely contending for a crowd favorite.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, thanks again. Listen to a Cold Sweats podcast, a show that I do with Jacob Ahey, Scott Hancock, and Wilson the volleyball. We're on typically every week. You can find us on iTunes, Google it, all that kind of stuff. If you found this video, you're on the Cold Sweats podcast YouTube page, so subscribe to it. Like the video if you actually did like it. If you didn't like it, then fuck you and like it anyway.
Yep.
You can leave us comments. Maybe someday there'll be another Cavities podcast, and you can listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that you want to plug? You got any plugs?
Plugs. My butt.
There you go. You heard it here first. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, don't forget to tip your server.